What up, YouTube?
For the old man.
We are back. OOTP Baseball, episode number 7. GM Kevin Oleman leading the Miami Marlins. Just coming back from the draft, the 2027 MLB draft. We've signed our players. The team is now 44 and 46. As you can see here, in 4th place in the NL East. 7.5 games back, 2 games below 500, but on track to have a much better season than the team we inherited. All right, before we jump into anything, let's take a look at our finances. So as you can see, we're in a small market. We have an average fan loyalty. Our fan interest is at 46. We'll do what we can to improve this. I don't think there's much we can do about market size. One thing we did earlier, I'm not sure if I showed it, but I lowered the ticket price. I want to say I did that either before or after the season ticket sales. I can't remember, to be honest. But anyhow, as you can see, we sold a fewer amount of season tickets, which is expected and understandable with the season the team had the year prior. Our attendance per game has increased 12%, as you can see, which is phenomenal. And then this as well, which is attributed to the increase in attendance, our revenue per game has gone up 11.8%. So what I'm going to try to do here to push that even further is bring this up down to $27.50, which is still below what the average price was in 26. And that's what we will do there. Okay, a few other things to note while we're here. Attendance history. So our attendance so far throughout the season through July, I would say July 11th, but we have a game today that we have yet to play, but through July 11th is 770,000. Just a little over 770,000. Last year's attendance was 1.3 million, so hopefully we can beat that. Let's see, the highest that they have within the last 10 years was 1.75 million. So that'll be our goal eventually, to get past that while Kevin Oleman is at the helm. If you can see here, it says we have the 27th largest payroll budget, or the 27th largest budget and payroll budget. Our total budget is at 182 million. Payroll budget is at 84.1. So our total money available, we have $40 million to play with, but there's not really much we need to do with that at this time. And then we have $7.8 million for extensions, which isn't much really, but we'll keep an eye out to see. I think most of the players we can bring back through arbitration, but I'll look to see throughout from now until the end of the season. I will be looking out to see if there are any players who we can extend within this range, or at least for the first year within that range. This is the 2028 projection, so this is how they calculate the 7.8 million for extensions for next year. So one of the main ways we're going to be trying to make money is through trades and player development. So we are gonna, the name of the game for this team is to uncover as many gems as we can through the draft, develop as many players as we can, even if it comes down to signing free agents and minor leaguers. One thing that we do, and we'll get into at some point, is I'll go to the independent leagues and I'll sign some of their players to my minor leagues, some of the better players out of the independent leagues. But we're not there yet. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, just wanted to go over our finances before we hop into the actual gameplay. All right, so now we are here at the calendar. We are about to get ready to get back to simming. What we're gonna do is, we're right here on July 11th. I'm gonna sim up to July 25th, Sunday. and then I'll sim each game, or I'm sorry, each day, which is each game. I'll sim, once we get to July 25th, I will then sim each day leading up to the trade deadline. And each day that I'm simming, in the background, I will be looking for trades, and I'll present anything that we get in that time. All right, so let's get started with that. I'll come back at the point that we reach the 25th. All right, we're back. It is currently July 25th, a Sunday. We stand at 48-51, 7 games out of first place. Currently in third place, 3 games under 500 at 48-51 on the season. So we're sort of treading water. We haven't really moved much. Take a look at the schedule. So this is where we were last on the 11th prior to playing San Diego. We ended up getting swept. So that was what, 5 losses in a row. Then the All-Star break, we came back. We snapped that losing streak with a win over Arizona. Proceeded to lose the next 2 games to Arizona. Then we swept the Twins at home, which is good. That was awesome. But the last 2 games have been losses to the Boston Red Sox at Boston. This last game, we lost in extra innings in the 10th inning at Boston. So the next game up, again, is at Boston. Now, you know, the trade deadline, we have the trade deadline coming up here on the 31st. A few things I need to mention up top. In this time frame from the 11th through the 24th, we did make a couple of trades. So what has transpired in that time has been a couple things. One is promotions and demotions within our minor league systems. That's going to be too many to show throughout the year, but just know that I made a few of those. So yeah, there were some promotions and demotions, especially with the new rookie class coming on board. I think at this point we've had all of them signed and they've been placed on their proper minor league level. Some have been placed on, I want to say the highest may have been no, the highest is high A. A couple of pitchers were placed on high A, and then the rest were either A ball or rookie ball. But yeah, so all of the rookies have been properly allocated where they need to be in the minors, and all of them have signed at this point. And then we've made 2 trades that I need to highlight, and they were minor league trades, and they were a result of assigning our rookie class. So one of the catchers that we signed, so they were actually 3 players, 2 pitchers and a catcher. One of the catchers that we signed, I believe, was VC from Tyrone, Georgia. He was placed on the high A team, and as a result, we shuffled around a few catchers, and as a result of that shuffle, 2 catchers that were previously on the high A team ended up being traded, and these turned out to be fairly lucrative trades for us, so I'll show both of those now. Okay, so this first trade was with the New York Yankees, and we dealt 28-year-old catcher Sam Prater, who, like I said, was previously in our high A team, to the New York Yankees for 2 players as well as cash consideration. The 2 players were 24-year-old right fielder Adrian Pinto, who was on the Yankees AAA team. He's now on our AAA team, and we've converted him to a second baseman. And then also we received 23-year-old right-handed pitcher Gabriel Torres, who was in their A team, and I believe he's either been placed in our high A team or our A team, but either way, he's now in our organization. And then in addition to that, we received $750,000 in cash. So you gotta remember, we're strapped for cash. I'm always sniping for cash in these trades. It's not a good trade if we don't have cash involved, I'll put it that way. That's my motto, okay? So let me get into the next trade now. Okay, so this next trade here was with the Chicago Cubs. We traded away 27-year-old catcher Hayden Cross. Again, He was on our high A team, so this is the second catcher that we traded away. And in return, we received 29-year-old second baseman Chase Strumpf, who was on their AAA team and is now on our AAA team. And in addition to that, we've also received $2 million. Hey, don't ask me why the Cubs will be willing to part with the $2 million. Just know that I'm more than willing to accept it. All right, so those are the two trades that we made. The net is we gave up 2 catchers. We received 3 minor league players, as well as a total of $2.75 million cash. All right, so back to the schedule. So what we're gonna do here for these next, this is like a week. So for this next week, basically, we're going to simulate a game and then look around for trades and back and forth. All right, we are back. We've made 2 trades today, 7/26, which is a Monday, 7/26/27, that is, in this save. So let's just get into it. The 2 trades we made. Trade number 1, the trade is with Minnesota. We part ways with 25-year-old right-handed pitcher Justin Lange, or Lange. I don't know if it's Lange. He was a AAA pitcher, 2-star overall, 3-star potential. I spotted him as a potential trade option, sorting through the AAA roster, looking at players who are in their last option year, who I don't really think would have that great of a chance of making it for us long term on the major league team. So came across Justin. He's actually a good player. Like I said, 2 to 3 stars. He has a future with somebody, just not with us. I didn't like the control on his pitches. I didn't save his profile. This that we're looking at right now is a screenshot of the trade. So in return, Minnesota sends us 24-year-old shortstop Noah Miller. He's a 2.5 overall star to 3-star potential player. I have it listed here that he was on their MiLB team, but we shipped him down to our AAA team. Also in return, we got 24-year-old right-handed pitcher Eli Jones, who was on their A team. He was a 1.5-star overall, 1.5-star potential guy. I think he may have landed on our A+ team, but honestly, it doesn't matter. The biggest thing with this trade is, in addition to these 2 players, we also received $5 million. Yep, that's right. Minnesota was willing to part ways with $5 million. And again, I'm not gonna lie to you, we were more than willing to take it. So that's $5 million more in our bank account, and that's trade number 1. Or at least that was trade number 1 on 7/26. So far on this episode, that's the 3rd trade in the month of July. All right, so coming up next, this next trade here is with Baltimore. Again, we found another guy in his last option year. And I'll note here, not only wasn't he in his last option year, but the trade for Chase Strumpf and subsequent position change, I don't know if I mentioned it or showed it, I don't believe I have, but we changed Chase Strumpf. Remember, that's the guy we traded for from Chicago Cubs. That was the 2nd trade that we showed in this episode. He was a second baseman when we got him. We have since converted him to a first baseman, and that has created a situation where, I hope I pronounced this right, Damiano Palmagiani has become expandable. He's the odd man out. He was the 3rd first baseman on the roster at that point, and we simply don't need him anymore. He's 27 years old. We don't think he has a long-term future with the organization, so we part ways with him. We also part with 26-year-old right-handed pitcher Cam Schlittler. He was on the A+ team. He was a 1.5-star overall, 2-star potential guy. 26-year-old, struggling on the A+ level. He had like a 12.91 ERA, which is why I included him in this trade. Might as as well just get rid of him now. We could also cut him, but So in return, Baltimore sends us 25-year-old right fielder Dylan Beavers. Now check this out. This guy, he was on their major league team for sure. We since DFA'd him and put him on our AAA team, but he's a 3-star overall, 4-star potential guy. We've also moved him from right field to left field. But what I want to point out though is his salary was $1.44 million. We have talked Baltimore into retaining 75% of that salary. So that's why you see that there. They're going to take on $1.1 million of the salary. So this is really a deal for us. This is also why I didn't press Baltimore for cash, because this is essentially them giving us cash. They're giving us $1.1 million to subsidize his contract. So that's Dylan Beavers. Like I said, he was struggling on the major league level. We'll give him a chance to retool and get his stuff together. We'll keep an eye on him as the season progresses. And then in addition to Dylan, we also received 23-year-old left-handed pitcher Justin West from their A ball. We're gonna put him on our high A. He's essentially gonna take the place of Cam Schlittler, and that's why we were able to include Cam in this trade. So this guy, Justin West, he was a 1.5-star overall, 2-star potential guy. And yeah, there's not too much to say about him, not too much more to say about this trade, other than to show this is the second trade of the day, 4th trade of the episode, and I might as well just sim to the next day. Okay, I decided to sim over 2 more days, so we went from the 26th to the 28th. As you can see there, we lost to Toronto. We have another game with Toronto right now. Before we go into that game, however, I'm gonna take a peek to see if there are any additional trades to be made. Boom. Okay. So this next trade, which will be the 5th of this episode, and hence the 5th of the July trade window, this is a big one. This one is of big significance, not like earth-shattering, but it's of major significance to our pitching staff. Basically, here it is. The trade is going to be with the Oakland A's. We are giving up one of our starting pitchers who I don't really feel has a long-term future with the team, and I think his contract is inflated a bit. That's 29-year-old Jesus Luzardo. He's a 2.5-star overall with a 2.5-star potential. So I believe he was maxed out. His salary was at $10.4 million, yet his ERA was 5.43 with a 9-8 record so far this year. So in return for Jesus, Oakland is going to give up 30-year-old right-handed pitcher Cal Bradish, is how I'm going to pronounce that. He's also a 2.5 overall, 2.5 potential guy. His salary, now this is like the MLB for MLB swap, so he's basically going to take Luzardo's place, not on the starting rotation, but just on the pitching staff. He's going to become one of our bullpen arms. Or wait, maybe he is on the, I don't know. Anyway, I think I take that back. I think I ran through everything, and I want to say we did make him not a starter, but a follower. So I think they're using the opener follower thing with these guys. But anyhow, his salary was at $2 million, yet his ERA is 3.44 with a 1-1 record. So that alone, I feel like, is a tad bit of an upgrade. He had much better movement on his pitching repertoire than what Luzardo was working with. But that's not all. Now, he's a 30-year-old, so he's a year older than Luzardo. But in addition to Cal Bradish, we also get 3 minor league prospects. This first one I'm really excited about, a 23-year-old right-handed pitcher, Kevin Gately. He was on their A squad. I think I'm going to move him up to our high A team. He's a 1.5-star overall pitcher with a 2.5-star potential. So we'll see how he develops and turns out. In addition, we also snagged 2 rookies that were in their Dominican League team. So 2 Dominican rookies, essentially. 19-year-old Ramiro Cortez, who's a right fielder. He's a half-star overall guy with a 1.5-star potential. So not much there, but you know, we'll see. And then Also a 22-year-old second baseman, Aaron Estrada, who is a 1.5 overall star, 2.5 star potential. Even though the stars aren't everything in the world, I'm just giving you a bit of context of what, you know, who we traded for and what was what. So in addition to these 4 players, I was also able to squeeze. Now these guys were stingy with their penny. I'm not mad at them. I still was able to get some money from Oakland, but not much at all. Only $250,000. But guess what? I sure did take it. All right, so that's the 5th trade of the window. I'm gonna simulate the next 2 games because this is a pretty big one. We may be exhausting all our trades at this point. So we'll come back on July 30th and see what everything looks like at that point. All right, we're back. So as you can see, we lost another game to Toronto and then bounced back and got the 1-run victory over Philadelphia. Closing in on the trade deadline, we did make yet another trade along the way, and that was made earlier on this day, which we're now on July 30th. So when we arrived on July 30th, we looked around and made this trade, which is we've traded 32-year-old left-handed pitcher Connor Menez. He's a 2-star guy with a $3 million salary, currently with a 5.11 ERA and a 4.8 record. We traded him back to his former team, who had previously traded him prior to Kevin Oleman's arrival, the Oakland A's. So this is the 2nd consecutive trade with Oakland. Oakland has given up 30-year-old left-handed pitcher Hogan Harris. So this is lefty on lefty, which we needed for our bullpen to maintain the balance, even though we're a little bit off balance at this point. But anyhow, so Hogan Harris will join the squad. He's a 3-star guy, so we upped the quality just a tad bit. His contract was $3.56 million, and we talked Oakland into retaining 75% of that. So that's the equivalent of them giving us $2.7 million. Therefore, we didn't ask for any additional money. That was enough. And I think that really sealed the deal on this trade. So I'll come back on the very last day. So we're racking up trades at this point. We don't need to make another one. So I'll come back on the 31st to see if there's any activity for the last day. Okay, we're back. Suffered another loss, and I looked around. Hold up.
A few moments later.
Okay, back again. This time, we made 2 more trades. I actually participated in the draft day trade event. I did not record it. For one,
Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is actually the first time I ever participated in that event, and I've had this game since it came out. So it was very interesting. I think it may be broken because the 2 trades that I were able to pull off are sort of insane. Not insane, but I felt like I took advantage of the system. But I'll get into that when I show the trades. But anyhow, so it was like a 4-round, 4 minute per round, which you can skip the remaining minutes if you wish. But it was just something that I had never experienced and wasn't sure if I wanted to record, and I don't think I will record going forward. I think I'll continue to do what I'm going to do here, which is just reveal the results of the event. One thing I didn't really like, you can pause the event as the timer is running down, but you cannot pause. So each round you get 4 minutes. You cannot pause the round to then go and look at your roster, which by roster I mean that plural, right? You have, for my team, I have like 6 or 7 teams. But anyway, so let's just get into the trades that we were able to make. We made 2 additional trades. So this will be trades number 7 and 8 on the month. This guy was on fire. This guy is in Kevin Oleman, the general manager, just making stuff happen. All right, so this first trade coming up, this is trade number 7, again made on July 31st at the deadline. We were able to get away with sending 20-year-old third baseman Harry Barto Abalo And if that name sounds familiar, it very well should. He showed up. Heriberto Abalo showed up on one of the development update reports with all negatives, if you recall. And when you look at his profile, one of the things that sticks out is ding ding ding, he has a very low work ethic. So we totally didn't mind trading him away. And the way that came about was I went through the teams that had players they were willing to trade. I found this guy who is 31-year-old left-handed pitcher, Lucas Gilbreth, is how I'll pronounce it. He's a 3-star left-handed pitcher. Found him on the list with Baltimore, selected him, said I wanted to trade for him, and then I just asked Baltimore who they'd be willing to trade for. They gave me a list of players. Heriberto was on the list. I remember Heriberto from my development report, took a look and saw the low work ethic and said, why the heck not? Heriberto was on the rookie DSL team, so this is like giving up nothing for another lefty that we need. Now, we didn't have space, and this is the thing that, like I said, I couldn't go as crazy. I guess that's what balances everything out, is that I couldn't necessarily rely on looking at my rosters and my depth chart, although I will know that for the future going into this. But I didn't know how much room I had, how much room I could play with on the roster. So all that to say, Lucas Gilbreth, although he's a lefty, we had to put him down onto AAA, but that was fine because this is his last option year. So we got him stashed there, and that'll be that. Heriberto is out of our hair. All right, so the next trade, this is the last trade of the episode, the last trade of this trade window. This is basically the last trade of the deadline. Trade number 8. I felt like again, I cannot emphasize this enough. We really took advantage of this month's trade. Like I said, 8 trades in the month of July. But anyhow, in this 8th trade, and again, everything I just described about how the Abalo Gilbreth trade is how this trade unfolded, but the result of it ended up being we parted ways with 25-year-old right-handed pitcher Alex Edmondson, who was on our high A team and who was a 1.5-star overall and potential guy. Gave him up to the New York Yankees in return for 30-year-old left-hand pitcher Tim Herron, who was a 4-star guy. He's only a two-pitch guy, but I think we can definitely use him. We had to waive and designate Bryce Jarvis again. If you remember, we waived and designated Bryce Jarvis at the beginning of the year. He cleared waivers, so we threw him on our AAA team, and then at some point we had to demote someone off the major league team, and we promoted him. And so now we needed to send him back down, but since he's out of options, we can't just send him back down. We have to waive him again. So we'll see if he clears waivers again. If not, that's totally fine. But yeah, so that's the last trade. And you know, with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap the episode. Actually, no, you know what? Let me just go ahead, sim this last game of the month, and then we'll wrap the episode after giving an overview of how the team performed for the month of July. So I'll do that and I'll be back. Okay, we're back, and damn, y'all, we lost again. We did not end this month well. Ended it basically going 7 for 8 out of the last 8 games. That's crazy. Overall now, we've dropped to 49 and 56, which is good for last place, I believe. Let's take a look here. Yep, as you can see, we are in last place now in the NL East, 9 games back behind the Mets, 7 games below 500. But that'll do it for this episode. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for sticking with me this long.
For the old man.
Until the next one. Peace.